Welcome back, my friends, to the D-Rate the Hate podcast. I am Wilk from wilksworld.com, and this is going to be our 40th episode tonight. Now, tonight is going to be, well, I'm going to be very real. Tonight's going to be very much a stream of consciousness. Just some things I've got on my mind. Pretty much everything I had planned on talking about kind of got jumbled up in my brain based on the current events and the events of today. Today happens to be the 20th of January, 2021. Our 46th president was inaugurated today. The world in which we live, or more specifically, the country in which we live, will most definitely be changing. Some say for the good, some say for the better. That remains to be seen. So we will, again, this podcast is not about politics, and that's not what I'm going to talk about. But I'm going to be talking about people, as I always do. Here at the D-Rate the Hate podcast, we're all about bettering the world, one attitude at a time, and that's exactly what we're here to do. So if you haven't yet done so, please, wherever you get your audio, click the subscribe button, share us with your friends. So first thing I want to ask you, what have you done today to make your life a better life? What have you done today to make the world a better place? We definitely have some changes coming about. And you know, in last week's episode, I talked about unity. But in a lot of people's mind, and there's a lot of powerful people out there who believe that unity only comes in the form of conformity. And quite honestly, that doesn't work. It doesn't work for me, and it doesn't work for a lot of people. I do not believe that unity has to come in the form of conformity. I'm a much more of a synergistic type of person. I believe in coming together in synergy and not conformity. So that goes all the way back to talking about when I was talking about the 7 habits of highly effective people. Compromise is not nearly as good as synergize, and most certainly conformity is not the way to reach unity. So when people just kind of going back to the events of today, when certain people are preaching about unity in one breath, and then in the next breath talking about all kinds of people that or basically calling anybody that doesn't agree with them racist or Nazis or things like that. That is certainly no way to go for unity. You can't preach unity and then put millions of other people down and basically call their ideology poison. So I'll leave that at that. Again, tonight, like I said, is going to be a stream of consciousness. I think I'm going to call this one "Don't Hate the Haters." When just going back, like I said, being very real about things, one of the biggest struggles that I have, and it's a struggle that I have in every aspect of my life. But that is when people with whom I don't agree force me to do something I don't like and don't want to do. For when that situation presents itself, it is very, very hard for me as a person to not hate. But one thing I always have to go back to, and one of the tenets that I always talk about in this podcast, is hate always hurts the hater more than it does the person that is hated, right? So when I say I struggle with that, but I have to make a conscious decision not to hate. When somebody spews poison to try and make me conform to their mentality or their ideology or their way of doing things, trying to maybe guilt trip me into something, or trying to, again, make me conform. However they're doing it, I see that as a form of hatred. I do, and ultimately, there's Okay, let's go back to something else. Ultimately, there's all kinds of reasons that people hate, right? So, you know, but mostly it's hurt people, or hateful people try to control others because that hatred within them just leaves this hole in their soul that they can only fill by making other people miserable or controlling other people or whatever the case may be. So when I say I have to consciously make the decision not to hate others, it's because I don't want that hole within me. I don't want to. I don't want to be that person who begins to hate so much that I have a hole inside of me that now I have to fill somehow, and that void within me caused by that hatred. So when I say don't hate the haters, I mean, like I said, hurt people, evil people hurt people. There's all kinds of reasons that people hate, but ultimately, people make that conscious decision to be a hateful person, right? And going back a couple episodes, hateful people aren't happy, and happy people aren't hateful. You cannot be a truly happy person if you're filled with hate. You can't be a happy person if you're filled with a victimhood mentality. You can't be a happy person if you think that the world is out to get you. If you're constantly trying to make people feel like a victim, if you're constantly trying to control people just for the sake of controlling them and on a power trip and making people do things that they don't want to do, you're a hate-filled, nasty person. And again, like I said, for me, it is well, going back to more episodes, and anybody who knows me personally or has listened to a lot of my podcasts, one of the biggest things that I appreciate in this world, in the life that God gave me, is liberty. And anybody who tries to infringe upon my liberty is, frankly, somebody that I have the greatest difficulty not hating. So, again, don't hate the hater, because ultimately that hate will hurt you certainly more than it's ever going to hurt the person that you're hating. It does, because hate is a poison. Hate is a cancer that again will ultimately do more damage. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're hating, and I might be talking in circles, and a lot of times I do, especially on my stream of consciousness types of episodes, but that hate, that internal hate, for whatever the reason, it may be totally justified, but ultimately that hate will eat you up inside more than it's gonna ever hurt the person you're hating. So I don't know. Like I said, don't hate the hater. That's gonna be tonight's episode. I do have some very exciting things coming up. I talked about it at the first part of the year. I've got some exciting interviews with some great people coming up. I'm very much looking forward to that. Very exciting stuff for the Derate the Hate podcast, and more importantly, very exciting stuff for the listeners. So some real good information coming up, some good things down the road. So with that, I'm going to dive into this week's feel-good story. This week's story comes out of Beloit, Illinois. Now, again, on our podcast, I like to point out local stories from somewhere that probably didn't make any kind of national news. They're generally not big stories, but they're just feel-good stories that just hit me at the right place at the right time. Hearing about extraordinary people or ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and this one is no exception. This one involves Officer Eli Truly, in a Beloit police officer, right? He finds out that this family, their home had recently burned to the ground. They had nothing, no place to go, and Officer Truly, he takes it upon himself to rent them a hotel room out of his own pocket. Didn't have to do it. Didn't even look for credit for it. The only way anybody actually found out about it was the fire department there relayed the information back to the police station. The police station, I believe, posted it somewhere, and then that's how this news story came to be on the local TV station. But Officer Truly, here's one thing, and I just want to bring this up. Talking about don't hate the haters, right? There is a movement afoot in this country, and it's a sickening movement to bash police and rip on police in a lot of ways. Just realize, and I'm not going to get into that because that's not what I'm here to do, but just realize that there is far more good in the police forces around this country than there is bad. Every institution, every group of people, every kind of person, or every kind of group out there is going to have some bad apples. It's going to have some stains, but the vast majority of police officers and law enforcement officers in this country and around the world are most likely some of the best among us, and make no mistake about that. Officer Eli Truly of the police department, again, took money out of his own pocket, rented a hotel room for this family. He didn't even know who they were. He just said, you know what, if I was in that position, I would hope somebody could do it for me. And that's the kind of thing that we need more of in this world, in this country. And just understand that there's a lot of good people out there. I love stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and again, this is no exception. A beautiful thing done by Officer Truly. I hope I'm saying that right. But like I said, very small story, not a lot of details to it, but it's a very good feel-good story in my opinion. And I will post the link to that article in the show notes, so check that out on deratethehate.com and get that information out of the show notes if you want to see more about that story. So with that, I'm going to wrap up this week's episode 40. Check that out on our website, deratethehate.com. If you get a chance and you want to support the show, there is an affiliates page on our website, deratethehate.com/affiliates. If you go through one of those links and purchase something, it does help us out at no extra cost to you. We get a little financial kickback from any purchase you make by going through our links. So with that, I am going to say, what have you done today to make your life a better life? What have you done today to make the world a better place? There's a lot of good out there, and there's a lot of good people, and it's up to us to be one of those good people. So get out there, be kind to one another, be grateful for everything that you've got, and remember, it's up to you to make each and every day the day that you want it to be. So with that, from all of us here at Wilk's World, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the support. Again, if you haven't done so, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Go to wherever you get your audio, subscribe, share us with your friends, leave us a review, check back. Like I said, we've got some interviews coming up in some of our episodes coming up here pretty soon, and share us with your friends. Check us out. We're on all social medias. I take that back. I shouldn't say all. A lot of social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Now we're on MeWe, and there will be more to come. There's no doubt about that. So with that, I'm going to say have a great week, and we'll catch you next week.